Beyond just throwing down building pieces, creating a good looking base can be hard. We've all been stuck in the trap of having a good idea, but it turns out looking like this. Today we're going to learn one of the secrets of building bases with depth and variety without relying on complex techniques or any real world architectural knowledge. Grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's begin. Today I'll be introducing a topic I've mentioned very briefly before, layering. In essence, this is a method of viewing building that breaks a base as a whole down into adaptable components that can be modified, changed and exchanged at will. Let's take a look at this build. Pretty awful, right? Well, if we slide the top off, we can get a top-down view of the rooms within. Here you can see we've got a lounge, workshop, alchemy suite and a bedroom. Let's take those rooms out of the build and look at what we can do to improve them. So firstly, we want to identify the size and shape of each room and any improvements we can make. Generally speaking, we want to avoid rooms being too similar in size, though it doesn't really matter if one or two rooms are a similar shape. We'll make some small adjustments to the lounge, leaving the bedroom, alchemy lab and the workshop the same. It's also a good idea to make certain rooms taller or shorter than others, even if it's just by a tile, as those small height differences do help with the overall aesthetic. From there, let's begin to arrange the new home. We'll firstly place the new lounge, and then on the top side we'll rotate and place the alchemy suite. Let's then place a corridor in the centre with an extra space on the end for the stairs, and then on the right side of the build we'll place the workshop halfway up the length of the corridor. On the first floor we'll then add the bedroom to sit above the centre of the build. Looking at that translated into the game, it's a much better start, but of course the roofing needs to be done. Fortunately, the best thing about layering and segmenting like this is that roofing is made a lot easier. I've said this in videos before, not every base requires a large and elegant roof design. We can instead get away with building multiple smaller roofs that fit nicely with the build. The best way to approach this is just to keep things simple and ensure your roofs run across different lines to break things up visually and make sure they look nice. In some builds you may be able to get away with all the roofs being somewhat similar depending on the style you're going for, but it also is a good idea to break it up with different styles of roofs, just to create some more visual interest in the build. The issue with the previous build wasn't so much that the rooms themselves were uninspired, but it's that the outer shell was, well, a shell. By basically throwing all those rooms inside a box, sure they're contained, but they don't really look that good. Once the roofs are done, you can see the improvement already. From a honestly pretty dismal starting point, we've managed to evolve our build from an ugly box to a fairly comfortable looking home, whilst not compromising on the functionality within the build. Due to the layering system being so modular, it's easy to plan ahead and snap extra rooms onto the existing build later on, so when we eventually need an extra room, there's more than enough real estate and space to seamlessly add it onto the build. Layering is a very simple concept that I found really helpful for improving my own builds, and when you begin to think about how to break your builds out of this standard box-like mould and move to a more segmented and adaptable design, you will doubtless see an improvement in your own builds. Thanks for watching. I know from experience that getting out of that box stage is probably one of the hardest steps in learning how to build effectively, be that in Conan, Ark or any other game with a similar building system. If you are really struggling to get to grips with this technique, which I did at first, the best advice I can give you is to build your most important things in the centre. By nature, you will then build your less important rooms in sort of a defensive ring around your central room, and therefore you'll begin to get an idea of how to layer and adapt rooms together. The layering and segmenting system can be adapted for whatever you're building, and it is incredibly effective, especially for more modest builds like these. If you enjoy my content, all the links to my Twitch, Twitter, Discord, Patreon, Host Havoc affiliate page, NordVPN discount and NordPass discount are available in the description below. However, of course, you can simply just leave a like, a comment or subscribe. Any of those are very greatly appreciated. Patrons get a bunch of nice benefits, including sneak peeks of videos, your name in every video, custom made wallpapers in 1080p and 4K resolutions, full-size build blueprints, Discord roles and more. That being said, a massive thanks to all of our esteemed coffee cultists on screen now for continuing to support the channel over on Patreon. Again, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.